Investigation, we began immediately tracking leads that night, which led us to a house in the city limits of Tulsa. So the Wagoner County Sheriff's Office, in cooperation with the Tulsa Police Department, went to that house on a tip that there were people there that were persons of interest in this homicide. We developed very quickly the first person of interest in this was Miranda Lynn Ree, and we wanted to talk to her. We went to this house in Tulsa, weren't able to locate her, but we did locate the vehicle that was seen leaving the scene of the homicide, and in fact arrested Sean Williams of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and brought him into custody. Wagoner County Sheriff's Office, when we work homicides, we bring all of our investigators in, we activated our violent crimes task force. And basically, we've worked nonstop on this, and our goal is we will not quit working until we get somebody into custody. We continued to follow leads, and those leads brought us back to Tulsa on two different times, where we worked with the Tulsa County Sheriff's Office again, and we worked with the Tulsa Police Department to track down Miranda Ree. On October 2nd, we received a tip of where the possible murder weapon was. We believe the murder weapon was a knife. Now this is 4 days after the homicide. And as you all can realize that on a homicide investigation, finding the weapon that was used to commit the crime is very important for evidence in a prosecution. What makes this unique is we knew a general location of where this knife was discarded at, and we activated our Wagoner County canine units and brought their canines out, and our canines actually started doing an area search or an article search for this knife. And Canine Deputy Brian Underwood and Edo actually went out and found this knife that was laying in a secluded area along the side of East 51st Street, and without the Canine Underwood and Canine Deputy Edo, we would have never found that knife. This is pretty unique and amazing, in my opinion, for the performance of our canine unit. Had it not been for them, we would not have located that knife. This was a difficult case to work. Miranda Lynn Ree was on the run from the beginning. We seemed to always be about 2 steps behind her. Every time we would get a tip or a lead, we would go there and she wasn't there. Through cooperation with area law enforcement, Wagoner County 911 was instrumental in helping us track her. We were able to track Miranda Lee to what we believed was a suburb of Houston, Texas. Once we realized that she was out of state, we immediately notified the United States Marshals and partnered with the United States Marshals here in Oklahoma and partnered with the United States Marshals in Texas. And this afternoon they were able to locate Miranda Lynn Ree and the person that has been helping her evade arrest, a Mr. Christopher Del Rio Collazo. Both of those suspects are currently in custody in the Harris County Jail in Texas. So we feel confident that we've got the right people in custody right now for this homicide, and we're looking forward to moving forward with a successful prosecution on it. I want to preface the fact that Miranda Lynn Ree and Chris Del Rio are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. So just because we arrest them, they're entitled to their due process. The other unique things about this case is Wagoner County is a great community to live in. We have very low violent crime in Wagoner County. However, we're not immune from having a violent act here. This county is extremely blessed and fortunate that we've got the caliber of deputies and investigators and emergency services and 911 staff here. So when this does happen, we have a very high solve rate on homicides here in Wagoner County, and our people do an exceptional job, and I myself, I feel very safe living in Wagoner County. We just don't have a lot of violent crime. Anytime we do, though, we're very successful in making an arrest. And in this case here, with a suspect that was running, once we identified her as a suspect, we had her in custody in a relatively short period of time. So at this point here, I will entertain some questions, particulars to the case. We're not going to divulge that yet, but I'll be more than glad to open it up to the members of the media and answer any questions that you might have.
Was the man she was found with, is he from Wagoner County too, or the Tulsa area?
Yes, Sean Williams is from the Tulsa area.
So did he drive her? Can you get into how he helped
Well,
her?
yes, he actually left the scene with her. And so he was with her up until the point that, in what we believe, she got in the car with Chris Del Rio.
Oh, that's what I meant. Chris Del Rio, is he a Tulsa area resident? Or
Yes, he's from the Tulsa area is what our understanding is at this time.
Can you explain the extradition process? I mean, how long is it going to take to get them back here to Wagoner County?
Yeah, the extradition process is they have a right to fight extradition in order to come back to Oklahoma to be held accountable for those crimes, and there's a legal process that goes through that. They actually have to go in front of a judge to fight the extradition, or they can simply waive extradition, and at that point we'll immediately go down there and pick them up. So currently they're incarcerated. There's no bond on them. They can't get out of jail down there until they see a judge, and they may have to have an extradition hearing for them, but that'll take place down in Texas.
Were they both arrested on the first-degree murder complaints? What were the specific complaints that they took them in on?
At this time, we have charged Miranda Lynn Ree with first-degree murder, and we have charged Christopher Del Rio with accessory after the fact, because we believe he was a significant factor in hiding her from law enforcement up until today.
do you believe he had a role in the homicide?
We're not that far into the investigation yet because we hadn't had an opportunity to talk to him.
Talk about how the dog found the knife and how crazy that is, how, you know.
Well, dogs have got obviously a keen sense of smell. Wagoner County Sheriff's Office, all of our canine dogs here are cross-trained. They're cross-trained in narcotics, they're cross-trained in tracking and apprehensions, and then they're also cross-trained into article searches. If you're driving down the road and you throw a gun or an article out in the middle of the field, our dogs can find them if we got a general area. And so what we do is Deputy Underwood will go to the general area and cast that dog into that area, and that dog will actually start looking for a scent. And if there's something out there that's been there, I've never heard of one finding one after 4 days. That's the phenomenal thing about this handler and this dog, because when they called me and they said, "Hey, Sheriff, we think we know where the knife is," and it was such a big area, I thought there's no way after 4 days, 5 days and 4 nights that this knife has been laying out in the field, the dog is ever going to be able to smell it. I was wrong. This dog went right to it, and it was in an area that is very obscured where it was. We probably would have never seen it just walking around and looking for it. So again, our canine program here at Wagoner County is paid off. We appreciate that, the taxpayers give us the money to buy these dogs and train these dogs and keep these dogs here. Huge, huge benefit to our agency.
Do you have a motive at this time? Or?
No, we don't. What I can tell you is the previous history on this house. This house, we've been looking at it for a long time for narcotics trafficking out of there. People there using dope. We know that's been going on. In fact, like I said, we've already been out there once, served a search warrant, got dope out of the house, got stolen property out of the house. We're aware of it, and we've been working that house. So anytime that you have a, and I'm going to tell you, I would call it a drug house, a dope house. I would call it that. That's how I'd categorize that particular house. Bad things happen at those places, and we don't know what instigated the confrontation, but we have not had an opportunity to talk to everybody that's been involved in it. We have talked to eyewitnesses. So, but we don't want to divulge any of that until we've had an opportunity to investigate.
With a house like that, do you have the ability after a certain number of calls? I've heard Tulsa police declare a house a nuisance and then have it shut down or possessed. Do you have any kind of authority to take over a house like this so they don't continue to do something like this?
Municipalities are much, much different than county agencies, and here's where the difference is. A municipality can come in and they can legislate their own municipal code ordinances inside the city limits, and they pretty much can do whatever they want to. Counties are restricted to nothing but state law, and I'm not aware, I'm not saying it's not out there, I'm just simply not aware of a state law under criminal that we can go in and declare a house a nuisance. So I'm just not aware of any.
So if I live in the area, just keep my eye out. This house is known, keep my eye out.
Well, the people in that area are very in tune to what's going on because I've been in contact with a lot of them out there. So they're aware as well. Any other questions? Okay, once again, thank you guys so much for showing up and taking interest in this case. This is it's a huge score for the Wagoner County Sheriff's Office. We had a homicide, very difficult case to work. I've got brilliant investigators. I've got brilliant deputies. I've got a brilliant 911 center. And it took everybody working as a team to make this happen. And that credit all needs to go to, not to me, but to everybody that put this case together. So, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get some video of the dog real quick?
It hope it gets shine now.